Namaskar. I welcome all of you for this online CTET training program. I am K. Madhu, a senior research fellow from RIE Mysuru, NCRT. So let us continue our sessions with the living world. So we had previous sessions on living world. We completed part 1, part 2 and part 3. So in this session we are going to cover part 4 of animal kingdom. That is about animal kingdom, and again in animal kingdom we'll specially focus on aves and mammals. So this is from paper 2 of science. So let us move forward and understand first how this session is going to be for the rest 45 minutes. Okay, so for first we will see the trend analysis, where where CTET is focusing on what concepts and how questions are being asked. Then we'll touch upon the concepts that are very much required in this in this topic. So wherever the focus is more, those concepts we'll be discussing in this session with respect to animal kingdom to mammals, aves and some other invertebrates. Then we'll apply those concepts to solve some previous year questions. So whatever the concepts we'll be discussing, we'll apply those concepts and try to solve few previous year questions. Then we'll have a quick recap. So let us go forward and understand on what concepts the CT is focusing more, on what concepts they were asking more questions and repeated questions with respect to animal kingdom, and within animal kingdom with respect to aves, mammals and invertebrates. So our focus is aves, that is birds, okay, mammals and invertebrates. So if you see on the right side, just look at the left side here. So these are the concepts which CTET was trying to test frequently every year. Okay, the evolution link between reptiles and birds. Okay, it is considered, or it was considered to be, birds were considered to be evolved from the reptiles. So what is the link between them? How birds got evolved from the reptiles? What were the similarities? All these were being tested in CTET. Then invertebrates, again invertebrates, where we will be focusing? Are we focusing on all the invertebrates that are present? No, we'll be focusing on those invertebrates, those concepts in invertebrates which CTET was trying to focus on. There are special animals, okay, so we'll be focusing on those. Then birds and flight, the adaptations, okay, adaptations in different organisms, different classes of invertebrates and vertebrates also. So mammal trials and exceptions. So how CTET is trying to test the individuals, how, on what concepts they are focusing, and in those concepts what they are focusing more. So if you see here, mammal exceptions win marks. So if you want to score more in this area, in this topic, you have to focus more on mammal exceptions. So it is not just understanding what a mammal is, what are their characteristics, what are their adaptations and all. We need to look into the exception animals that are present in the mammals. Like for example, there are definite characteristics for every class of animals. Mammals also do have, we can say for example, they have mammary glands, they have hair on their body. So these are the definitive characteristic of mammals. So what are the exceptional animals that fall into mammals which show a different characteristic also? Like for example, bat. So bat is something that they're frequently asking with respect to mammals. So bat is flying, okay, but it is still a mammal. Why is it not a bird? So like these questions were being asked. Then we'll also be touching on, and we should also understand adaptations in different animals. Like for example, again in the mammals itself, there are certain animals which live in very different environmental conditions, like polar bear, okay, like polar bear and other mammals that live in colder areas. Okay, so what are their adaptations to live? And again in birds, what are the adaptations of birds? How do they fly? What are their adaptations to stay in the air and fly for longer times? So they are majorly focusing on adaptations of the organisms, adaptations of different organisms or animals in those classes, and also the exceptions. Okay, so it is not just merely focusing on the concepts are their understanding. It is also going deep and understanding what are the different exceptions that are present and what are the adaptations. So majorly these two CTE is trying to test, and this is what CTET will expect you, to know when you go for examination. Okay, and also apart from these two, we have one more concept and how it is being tested. It's about invertebrates. So we have echinoderms, we have annelida, we have mollusca. There are a lot of invertebrate classes. So in that we have some special organisms which have special characteristics. Okay, so there like questions are being frequently asked about starfish, amoeba. Okay, and there is one more organism, that is earthworm. So these three were continuously these three were continuously seen in the papers regarding their special characteristics. How starfish is special, in what it is special. That is also a invertebrate. Okay, even there are other invertebrates also. How starfish is a little different and what a different characteristics it has. So basically what it is trying to test from you, or what CTET wants you to know, is something special. Okay, so what is those special animals in mammals which has different characteristics? What are the adaptations, special adaptations that organisms are having? Then in invertebrates also, what are those special animals which have special characteristics that they exhibit? So this is what CTET is focusing more. So whenever you going through, even after this session, so focus more on this and try to solve more questions on exceptions of mammals, exceptions in birds, and adaptations in birds and mammals. Okay, these are the most repeated questions, and also the special invertebrates that we have discussed now. So let us move forward. So as we said, the evolutionary link. Okay, we said that some questions were also asked with respect to the evolutionary link between reptiles and birds. Okay, reptiles, birds are apes. Okay, apes are birds itself. So what do they have common? Okay, what do they have in common, and how and why the birds are considered to be evolved from the reptiles? What is the commonality? So this is what is being asked many times. Okay, they have homologous structures. What is the similarity between them? They have homologous structures. What do we mean by homologous structures? So homologous structures are those structures, okay, they have a basic origin. Okay, they have a single origin, but they have a different function. Okay, there are like for example, two body parts. Okay, both the individuals have two body parts which has same origin. They came from the same same origin, and they have a different function. Like for example, both, like you can see here, the next two will explain what do we mean by homologous structures. So even reptiles, like examples of reptiles are dinosaurs. So dinosaurs are also having feathers lately. Okay, and later when birds came, birds also are having feathers. So both have feathers. Okay, both have feathers, and both came from a protein called beta keratin. Okay, both are found from beta keratin. Okay, but the reptiles used it as insulation. Those feathers were used by reptiles for insulation purpose, whereas birds are using for flight purpose. Okay, even scales, reptiles also had scales, and these scales were modified and evolved into feathers. So these scales itself, the scales from dinosaurs or other reptiles, they developed into feathers. So though they developed into feathers in reptiles like dinosaurs, they were using them for insulation, whereas birds use them for flight. So this is the evolutionary link. They have homologous structures which have the same origin. Okay, same developed from a protein called beta keratin, and scales are developed into feathers. Okay, so feathers, one used like insulation, one used for flight purpose. So this is what is the one concept which was frequently tested in CTET. So please go through it. Even after the session, you can go a little deeper and try to, we are anyway solving few questions based on this concept, but you also try to clear more questions on this. Then class A's, okay, after evolutionary link. So regarding birds and the exceptions in birds, okay, the few characteristics we already studied, we already discussed in the previous sessions. Let us just quickly revise them. So they are warm-blooded and they have four-chambered heart. Okay, they are warm-blooded and four-chambered. Why they have four chambers? Because they have high demand of oxygen and energy. Okay, they have high demand of oxygen and energy compared to other organisms, compared to other vertebrates. Okay, why? Because they are those organisms which can regulate their body temperature with not minding the external environment temperature, right? So they have to maintain constant temperature no matter how the temperature is outside. So in order to maintain a consistent and constant temperature without getting influenced from external temperature, so they need more energy. For more energy they need more oxygen. Okay, they have four-chambered heart. Then lungs, their respiratory system consists of lungs and there are air sacs also. Okay, and air sacs is the major characteristic, a definitive characteristic of birds. So continuous effort oxygen supply is required. Okay, that's why apart from lungs they also do have air sacs. So these air sacs will act like reserves of air. So they also act like reservoirs of air, with some air will be staying inside, will be reserved inside air sacs, and that's how the breathing is continuous. Other than apart from mammals, like we do inhale and we exhale. For some time we won't be taking the when we exhale we are not taking air inside, but whereas in birds, though they are inhaling and while leaving also they can still breathe, because some air is reserved or stored in air sacs. So they lay hard and hard-shelled eggs. Okay, reproduction is on land and care for young ones in their nests. So these are the general characteristics, but the definitive characteristic is this. Okay, air sacs, they do have air sacs. So wings, so forelimbs are modified for for flight. Then they are lightly built. Since they have to stay in air, they have to fly, they are lightly built. How they are lightly built? With the help of hollow bones. Okay, like our bones are completely filled with calcium and whatever the metals we have, but they have hollow bones. Like inside there is the empty space will be there, where air also will be there. So there will be empty space in between in between the bones, like inside the bones. Crop and store and grind food without teeth. So they don't have teeth, so they store the food and keep grinding inside. So but what are the exceptions here? Okay, we say birds fly. So this concept is not sufficient for us to clear questions in CTET, because the questions are, like as we discussed, the questions are being asked with respect to the exceptions. So what are the exceptions in birds? The exceptions are ostrich, the largest bird. Okay, then penguin is one more bird. So though it is in the water, it is also a bird. Then kiwi. Okay, all these fall into A's. We said that birds fly, but whereas ostrich, penguin and kiwi doesn't fly. So they are also placed in birds. So ostrich is a bird which is largest and cannot fly. Okay, that is one exception. And penguin stays in the water, it swims. Okay, but why it is kept in birds? Because its forelimbs are also their wings are modified flippers. Okay, they have flippers, right, which will be used for swimming. They are modified, they are four limbs only. Okay, they are modified into flippers. So kiwi is one more bird which cannot fly. So these are the exceptions. So questions may come with respect to exceptions in birds. Then class Mammalia. Okay, so in what are the mammals? So mammals are so first we need to understand the concept of mammals, and let us see from the CTET perspective how questions are being asked with respect to mammals. So mammals are those organisms which possess mammary glands. Okay, which possess mammary glands, which produce milk to their offsprings, which feed their offsprings with the with the milk that they produce. And that is one characteristics, and one more characteristic is they have fur or hair on their body. Like we do have hair on our body, we are mammals. Okay, so these are the two main characteristics of mammals, definite characteristic of mammals. But most of us do mistakes when we see options in CTET, like they give birth, they give directly birth to the young ones. Okay, that is not the definitive characteristic of mammals. Mammals do give birth to their young ones directly, but that is not the definite characteristic of mammals. The definitive characteristic of mammals is possessing mammary glands through which they provide milk to their young ones, and having fur on their body. Why I am saying giving directly birth to the young ones is not a definitive characteristic of mammals is because there are mammals which cannot directly give birth to their young ones, which lay eggs. There are egg laying mammals also. Okay, so we should be very careful, and we shouldn't think that all mammals directly give birth to their young ones. Okay, so that is where CTET is testing. It's not testing the direct concept, it is testing the exceptions that are present in different organisms, and that's what we are going to discuss now. So the other common characteristic is warm-blooded and four-chamber, exactly like the birds. So what are the adaptations here? Let us see the most tested adaptation, most asked adaptation in CTET, that is about polar bear. So polar bear question is very repetitive. Okay, they're asking more frequently. So though it is a mammal, it got different adaptations since it lives in a different environmental conditions, like cold conditions. So how does it live there? What adaptations it has that it can live there, whereas other mammals cannot live in those kind of situations. So it has white fur. Okay, it acts as camouflage in snow, or the other prey cannot see it. Okay, so it just blends with the the background, so that prey cannot understand that polar bear is there, and it will hunt in such a way. And even predators also, like anybody wants to find polar bear in ice, it is very difficult because their white fur reflects, and it is highly difficult to spot the polar bears in that ice. Then they have sharp claws for nice grip over the ice. So ice is very smooth, so they have to have a nice grip. They have to have proper grip to hold and to stand in the ice and do other activities. So for this purpose, they have an adaptation called sharp claws, which will help them to hold and stand properly. Whereas most of the times in CTET, there is an option called flat foot. So one of the option that is given is flat foot, that polar bears they will possess flat foot so that they can stand on the ice, whereas this is wrong. Okay, wherever you see about whenever you see a question regarding polar bear and its adaptations, so most of the times they are giving flat foot in the options, where most of the individuals go and opt it. So that is wrong. So flat foot is not an adaptation that is possessed by that is there in polar bears. Okay, they have sharp claws, because of which they have they can have a good grip over ice and they can sustain there. So wherever you say flat foot, please just eliminate it. Then they have a fatty layer. Okay, they have a fatty layer for the insulation purpose. So since the weather will be too cold there, they have to maintain their body temperature. So that will be done by a fat body layer. It is too thick. It is too thick that it will have almost 11 centimeters thickness. Okay, it is subcutaneous layer, fatty layer, that is called as almost 11 centimeters thickness it will have to sustain in that colder environments. Okay, so mammals are heterodont teeth. So there are different types of teeth for different purposes. Like we are mammals, so we have different types of teeth, if you remember: incisors, canines, and molars. So we have three to four different types of teeth. That's why we are called as heterodont. Okay, so another so this is one more characteristic of mammals: different teeth for different jobs. So this is about the concept and few adaptations the CTET was testing. Then birds versus mammals and exceptions. We told that exceptions are the ones which CTET is testing more in examinations. So first let us understand the difference between birds and mammals. So birds, they have feathers, they have beak, and they lay eggs mostly. Okay, mostly. These are the characteristics of birds. So birds definitive characters are having feathers, having air sacs, okay, and beak. These three are the examples. What about mammals? They have hair or fur and mammary glands. So whenever you see a characteristic of giving birth, that all mammals give, if you see a question like does all mammals give birth to their young ones, it is no. So giving birth to their young ones directly is not the definitive characteristic of mammals. So please keep that in mind. Then bat. So bat is one exception in the mammals. Okay, bat is exception in the mammal. It has mammary glands. It will produce milk to their young ones, and that's how it feeds. But it is still it is still in mammals, but it is not in birds. Why? Because it possesses mammary glands. Yeah. So bat is the only flying mammal. Okay, true flying mammal. So this question also came in previous year questions. Which among the following is the only and true flying mammal? The answer is bat. We will solve that question also. So mammals exceptions. Okay, so we have examples like platypus here, and we have echidna. So these are the two egg laying mammals. Okay, please remember platypus, number 2, okay, echidna. So these are the two mammals which lays eggs. These are egg laying mammals. So don't be confused. So don't have a misconception that all mammals will be directly giving birth to their young ones. Okay, these are the exceptional mammals which lays eggs. Then so mammary glands and hair. Okay, so whales. There's some other exceptions in mammals are the aquatic mammals. Okay, whales, dolphins are aquatic mammals. So they breathe air. So though they stay in the water, they breathe air. They come to the surface and they have to take the aerial oxygen. Okay, not the dissolved oxygen. So whale is also a mammal. It gives birth directly, and it has mammary glands. Okay, so that's the these are the exceptions. So mostly questions will be based on the exceptions in the organisms. Okay, especially mammals. So what makes a mammal? It is mammary glands and hair, not giving birth. Okay, not directly giving birth. What about if so exceptions are flying bat is one exception, egg laying platypus, both are mammals. Okay, ostrich, penguin, kiwi are the birds that they can't fly. So these are exceptions in birds. So please remember these facts because these are repeated questions in CTET. So invertebrates. Let us move to invertebrates. So till now we discussed about the most important and most asked concepts in vertebrates. Now let us move to invertebrates. With respect to invertebrates, they were focusing more on the special animals that are present in invertebrates. So what are those special animals? and how they were asking questions and what they were meaning and which animals they were meaning to say special animals. So one is starfish, another is earthworm. Okay, so invertebrates means they don't have any backbone. Okay, so starfish is under echinodermata, so it comes under class echinodermata, whereas earthworm comes under annelida. Okay, so what about why is the starfish is special? Because every animal or every organism takes food inside and digests inside, whereas starfish is not like that. The digestion happens outside the body. The digestion happens outside the body and the digested nutrients will be taken inside again. Okay, we will discuss that. So it everts its stomach onto prey, digests externally, then retracts it. Okay, everts means it sends out its stomach through the mouth, then release the digestive glands on it. Okay, wherever the prey is there, it will digest it, then again it will collect and take back its stomach. Very special way of taking nutrition. And why earthworm is special? It has segmented body and it moves in loops using circular and longitudinal muscles. So if this is the earthworm, okay, it has circular muscles and also longitudinal muscles. So with the help of these, they move forward, okay, using both. So that is also one specialty. So invertebrates lack vertebral column, that we already discussed. And yeah, so starfish, octopus, earthworm, snail, insects, all these are invertebrates because they don't have a backbone. They don't possess a backbone. Okay, so that is one special. These are special organisms, and there were questions on starfish, especially starfish nutrition, because it has special very different way of taking nutrition. And with respect to earthworm, it is the movement part. Then unicellular animals, which is amoeba. So there are a lot of questions on amoeba also with respect to its movement, its nutrition, and is it a single cell or multicellular? Because being a single cell, how does it perform all the all the living process? How does it meet all its needs? So questions were asked in these from this perspective with respect to amoeba. So let us touch upon amoeba also, because mostly the frequent questions were being asked with respect to amoeba. So what is the specialty about amoeba? It has pseudopodia for movement, pseudopodia for feeding, and it is unicellular eukaryote. So it is a single-celled organism, but not bacteria or anything. It is eukaryote. Okay, eukaryote means, we know, right? Eukaryote means a definite nucleus will be there. A definite nucleus will be there. And it has pseudopodia. So if you remember the structure of amoeba, they don't possess any definite structure of, they definitely structure. So it is very random. Okay, so you can just draw an amoeba however you want. Okay, so it is single cell, the nucleus, the cytoplasm, this is cell membrane. Okay, so these are called as pseudopodia. Okay, all these finger-like structures are called as pseudopodia. Okay, so these are called as pseudopodia. So they move with the help of pseudopodia, and they also collect the food with the help of pseudopodia. So all of you might know, they just extend their finger-like projections. Okay, they keep moving with the help of pseudopodia by extending them, and once they extend, once there is a food in front, they start engulfing. Okay, they start engulfing the food and they take it inside their cytoplasm. That's how they digest and have their nutrition. Okay, so this process is also called as phagocytosis. Okay, how amoeba eats food? It is through the process of phagocytosis, by engulfing the food with the help of their finger-like projections and digesting it. Cytosis. So once food is taken inside, any bacteria, any other algae, if they take inside, cytosis, they kill it with the help of lysosomes. So every cell has lysosomes, right? Organelles. We remember them with the name called suicidal bags of cell. So they release their digestive enzymes from the lysosomes, and the food will be digested and the energy will be obtained. So this is one peculiar organism, a single celled organism which is eukaryote, and this is also being asked many times in the CTET. So please remember this. So it performs all its functions being a single cell. Remember that. So if a question is there, which is that organism, okay, which is single celled but can perform all its functions and which is also eukaryote. Okay, there are three major characteristics. It is eukaryote, okay, single cell and all functions. Okay, so these are the main three characteristics that you have to remember. Remember, pseudopodia helps them to move, pseudopodia helps them to feed. This is about amoeba. So these are the few repeated concepts that were being tested in CTET, and again in those concepts also where they were focusing more. If it is mammals, where exactly they are focusing on mammals. If it is aves, if the concept is about aves, where exactly they are focusing with respect to aves. If it is invertebrates, where exactly they are focusing. So that's what we discussed now. In mammals, they are talking about adaptations, exceptions, even in aves also, adaptations, exceptions, and the linkage, the evolutionary link between reptiles and birds. So these were the few major focuses in those concepts. So please remember them. And now let us understand by applying these concepts to the previous year questions. So we'll understand how the questions were being asked with respect to these concepts. You will understand now. So let us apply the concept that we learned now to solve the previous year questions. So let me read out the first question. The first question is, dinosaurs had feathers but could not fly. Okay, birds have feathers and could fly. In evolutionary terms, this means, okay, the question is, dinosaurs had feathers but could not fly. Birds have feathers and they fly. In evolutionary terms, what are the keywords here? Dinosaurs having feathers but not fly. Birds having feathers but they fly. So in evolutionary terms, they are asking, in evolutionary terms, what does this mean? Does that mean no connection between reptiles and birds? Does it mean feathers are homologous structures in both? Does it mean reptiles evolved from birds? Does that mean birds evolved from reptiles? So which is the answer? So let us see, no connection between reptiles and birds. So definitely there is a connection, we saw. Okay, they are homologous structures, and birds were considered to be evolved from the reptiles. So that the first option is wrong. What about the second option? Feathers are homologous structures in both. Definitely yes, that's what we discussed now. They are homologous structures, so let us consider for now. And what about the third one? Reptiles evolved from birds. They have given ulta. That is not right. Birds are the ones to be evolved into reptile. Sorry, there is a mistake. Okay, reptiles evolved from birds. That's what they're saying. But whereas reptiles are the ones evolved into birds. Okay, so from birds reptiles didn't come. From reptiles birds came. So that is also wrong. Next, what about fourth one? Birds evolved from reptiles. Yes, that's what we discussed now. So this is also right. So both look similar. Both looks right. So there must be a confusion between these two, because both look similar and they are asking only for one answer. So now we have to go through the key term that they asked. They asked evolutionary terms. With respect to evolutionary terms, so what is related to evolution? Evolution here, is it the second one or is it the fourth one? Feathers are homologous structures in both. Yes, that is true. But with respect to evolution, this is the right answer. Okay, birds evolved from reptiles with respect to evolutionary terms. So it is the birds evolved from reptiles is the most appropriate answer. Whereas though second one is right, it is incomplete. It is not in terms of evolutionary terms that they are speaking. They are just saying the character, the link between the apes and reptiles. Okay, so this is the answer. So I hope you understood. And next we'll move forward to so the homologous, same origin, direction. We should focus more on the direction of it. So yeah, we discussed why the other options are wrong already. So let us not focus on the discussion again. So we'll move forward to the next question. Okay, 2019 question. The question is, which features help a polar bear survive in cold climate? Okay, which features help a polar bear survive in extreme cold climates? Again, we discussed that they'll be focusing more on adaptations. So this is related to adaptation. So is it the strong smell, flat feet and layers of fur that help polar bears survive, or is it white fur, flat feet, fat under the skin, or is it white fur, long curved sharp claws, fat under skin? Option 4, is it white fur, flat feet, layers of fur? So which among these is right answer? Which among these are helping polar bear to survive in the extreme colder conditions? So strong smell, flat feet, we said flat feet is definitely something that they try to confuse you. So if we find flat feet, definitely eliminate it. And even strong smell also is wrong. So most of the mammals also have strong smell. Need not be having, need not be only polar bear having it. So that is not the adaptation. Layers of fur, yes, that is only one. Okay, that is only one character that is right, but whereas other two are wrong. What about option 2? White fur, again there is flat feet, so eliminate. Then flat feet, then white fur, long curved sharp claws, fat under the skin, most appropriate. As we discussed, all the characteristics are there, all the adaptations. White fur is there for blending into the background, long curved sharp claws to have a grip, and fat under the skin for insulation purpose. Whereas again you can see a flat feet here. So all others are wrong, whereas third option is right. So this is the answer. Let us move forward to one more question. Which of the following is only true flying mammal? The question again, exceptions. Okay, it is related to exception. Okay, exceptions in mammals. So which one is true flying mammal? Which one? Flying squirrel, bat, owl, penguin. So we discussed penguin is a bird, owl is also a bird because it has feathers. Then both, so these two will fly, but which one is the true flying mammal? Both are mammals. Flying squirrel is also mammal and bat is also mammal. Which one is true flying? They are asking true flying mammal. True flying is, it is bat because it got wings. It will use their wings to fly higher, fly in different directions and all, whereas flying squirrel just glide. It doesn't fly, it just glides. You might know the paragliding, right? So you just have wing like, the flaps kind of a thing. You just keep going, that's all. And if you ever saw flying squirrel, flying, it is not flying, it is gliding. It just, spreads its, skin and just gliding it. It can't fly high. Okay, it can't fly and change directions and, move faster with the help of the skin that it has. Whereas bat can do that. It exactly flies like a bird. So it's true flying mammal. Yes, so bat is a mammal. Okay, bird, not mammals. Yeah. So let us move forward. The question from 2014. The question is, an animal pushes its stomach out through its mouth to feed on the soft parts of the shellfish. Okay, then pulls it back in. This animal is the, okay, again it is about the special organism that we talk, the special invertebrate. Okay, an animal pushes its stomach out through its mouth, feed on the soft parts of the shellfish, then pulls it back. This animal is the, which one? Crocodile. We all know how it eats, so definitely not crocodile. Octopus, we'll just think about it. Tortoise, we also know how it eats. Then starfish. Starfish, we already discussed how it eats. It just puts out its stomach, throws out its stomach, digests the organism outside, then take it inside. So it is starfish. But whereas octopus is different. Octopus uses its sting. Okay, it uses sting to paralyze the prey and start eating it. So it is not octopus also. It is only starfish. Related to special organisms in invertebrates. Yeah. So starfish, external digestion, stomach converts, everts into shellfish, then withdraws. Okay, so it doesn't have backbone. Okay, all this is fine. Then we'll move to one more question. Okay, one more previous year question. The pseudopodia of amoeba are used for. Okay, so we discussed, right, a eukaryote. Okay, I'm sorry, spelling is wrong. Single celled. Okay, eukaryote single cell organism, that is amoeba. So they are asking, pseudopodia of amoeba are used for what? Is it for movement only, movement and capture of food, sensing of food only, capture of food only? So in previous sessions we discussed, if you see any words like only, it is just to confuse you and to trap you. So most of the options which come with words like only, you can eliminate them. Just not blindly think, sometimes they also will be right, but mostly they will be wrong answers. So it is not movement only, it is not sensing food only, it is not capturing food only, it is both movement and capturing. Okay, we just discussed, they just protrudes, elongate, spread their pseudopodia for both capturing and movement of the organism. So this is the question about pseudopodia. So movement, capture of food, both are right. Okay, one cell wonder. Okay, it is unicellular eukaryote. So these are the concepts where CTET was focusing more with respect to mammals, birds and all, in vertebrates and in invertebrates also. So in vertebrates we discussed mammals and birds, and where CTET is focusing in birds, where CTET is focusing on mammals, and then again in invertebrates we saw where it is focusing. It is focusing more on the special animals like starfish, then annelida, that is earthworm. So special characteristics, special animals it was focusing. And we also discussed in a unicellular eukaryotic organism, which was repeatedly asked about in CTET. So please remember them and try to clear more questions. We could only clear for 5 questions here due to time constraints. We can clear more and more questions with respect to this and refer previous year questions more. Right? So before you go to exam, please log these facts, very important and repeatedly asked. So feathers are homologous in nature, we discussed. Birds are warm-blooded, they have 4-chamber and they have air sacs. Polar bear is adapted to cold. Okay, it has white fur, sharp claws and fat layer, adaptations. Then bat is the only flying mammal, true flying mammal. Flying squirrel also is there, but that doesn't fly. It is called as flying squirrel, but it just glides, not fly. Platypus, echidna are egg-laying mammals. Exceptions. Okay. Then starfish averts his stomach. It averts and retreats back. So these are the few facts you should remember. And mostly if you see, so they are focusing on exceptions in the class of animals and some special characteristics in the class of animals and the evolutionary links and adaptations. So they are not directly testing the concept. They are going to application level, and they want you to know more and in-depth special characteristics, adaptations and exceptions. So this is where they are focusing more in CTET, and this is what about the living world. We had series of 4 different parts of animal, the living world. We have discussed all of them. So please, I hope you remember all this, where CTET is focusing more. So accordingly, I request all of you to prepare and try to solve more questions with respect to how we discussed the concepts and the kind of questions we cleared. So with this, we'll conclude our session, and I hope you understood. Thank you.